As an educator and a property taxpayer for the state of Vermont, I have real concerns the way that we spend our education tax dollars. And wonder, I think a lot of Vermonters have the same concerns. We seem to be spending more and more on special education, and we are seeing very little return, in my estimation, of those increase in spending. Can you tell me what your thoughts are and how we can work collaboratively to improve the results of our students?
Okay. How we can, do you want me to address how do we improve student outcomes, or do you want me to address the cost part?
Yes.
Both. Okay.
Yes.
So for starters, the cost and property taxes. If property taxes were the only thing funding our schools, it would be one thing, but it's not. The funding for schools, about 75% of our property tax is education funding. Depending on where you are in Burlington, that's the case. It comes out of lottery, sales and use, rooms and meals. If you look at the way the education funding is set up, it actually comes from everywhere because we spend so much that there isn't enough property taxes to go around. Now, that being said, part of the problem, particularly when you talk about Act 46, where it now, Act 46 that basically centralizes school funding and creates this really ridiculous funding mechanism that nobody can understand. First of all, number one, when the government creates anything that is so complicated that nobody can understand it, you have to know immediately that there's something wrong. Like, if you can't just figure out where money is coming from and going to, there's a problem. And we have a serious issue with that in Vermont. A lot of our money, budgeting and other issues are very muddied intentionally. The Burlington City financial statements are almost impossible to read, and I've been an accountant for 20 years. It's horrifying, and they get in trouble a lot. So, first of all, that whole structure needs to be dealt with. We need the auditor and the treasurer to start holding our legislature accountable and make sure that everything is crystal clear and understandable for the Vermont public, because they don't know. Most Vermonters don't know that all of the funding comes from all these various sources. Part of the boondoggle of the education funding, because Burlington offers a tremendous amount of services, they're actually absorbing funds from the less affluent parts of the state to pay for the things that they've decided to offer. So even though other municipalities can't afford all the special educators, can't afford all of the different special services that they get in Burlington and Winooski, it boggles the mind that people in Chittenden County think people in Addison County should be paying to educate their children. I just don't understand that. This is another one of those topics that's hard to unpack because there's so many layers of bureaucracy and stupidity, for lack of a better word, that's just all been piled on top of one another to make it look like we care.